What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great weekend as we wrap it up here. What we're going to talk about in this video, it looks like the chance of severe weather is actually increasing, and it's increasing areas much more further east, which is kind of what I was thinking was going to end up happening. So now they've introduced the slight risk, which is a level 2 out of 5. Again, level 2 out of 5 does not sound that scary, but that's pretty significant, and we're going to show you why here. Before we get going, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, it is much appreciated. I'm 38 subscribers away from 1,000. My goal is that before the end of the year, so hit the subscribe button. Follow along. I love talking weather here in the Southeast and here in South Carolina, the Carolinas, and just anywhere in the Southeast, guys. So got this severe weather event that's going to end up unfolding overnight into tomorrow. So, like I said, the slight risk. So, a little area of South Carolina and a pretty big area here in eastern North Carolina. As it looks like the sun's going to end up being able to come out. The active weather is going to end up hitting that area later in the morning into the afternoon tomorrow. But this is the main thing I'm worrying about. We're going to flip over to the tornado threat here, and I'm not sure why my screen just did that, but tornado threat, check it out, a 5% chance. I know you're thinking 5% chance is hardly nothing, but that's pretty significant when it comes, when the Storm Prediction Center here lists this. That normally means we're going to see some kind of spin up somewhere. It's not guaranteed, obviously, nothing is, but this is pretty significant. So the 5% chance has been introduced. Of course, you got a 2% chance that goes out to the eastern parts of the Midlands and areas in Georgia, North Carolina, all the way over here to parts of Louisiana from tonight. But 5% chance of a tornado. We're definitely going to be watching this eastern North Carolina area. I think that's your biggest chance to see a possible tornado. Wind threat, 5% to 15% chance down here in the panhandle and southern parts of Georgia to see some kind of wind damage. But if we flip it over here, we go to the day 2. So this is going into Monday into Tuesday. The threat shifts even more. So you're looking at the Outer Banks, things like that, in far eastern areas of North Carolina as the threat shifts overnight Monday into Tuesday. 5% chance still of a tornado in areas in far eastern North Carolina. So we still have to watch. Basically, everything just shifts east naturally. So we're going to take a look at this storm here. We're going to back it up a little bit. We're a little bit too far ahead. So right now, areas like, for instance, where I'm at, we're just dealing with some moderate rain, some on and off heavy rain. Not going on. Even in Alabama, there's some heavy rain. Georgia, heavy rain, moderate rain. Nothing really severe going on out here. But as we get into, this is the 7 p.m., 6 p.m., Central Standard Time. We get, 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m., you start to get this heavier area of rain starts to work north, and you get a line that's south of the low, starts to develop just south of the low, and this line kind of starts to get together. But this is really overnight, so it gets going probably around the Atlanta area, points east. How intact will this line be? I'm not thinking it's going to be super intact, but we're going to watch. The more intact it is, probably the more intense it is. But one thing I do want to note is the winds are going to be screaming out the south. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Ahead of this line. So very breezy conditions. A lot of folks, especially from this is probably 6 a.m. It's actually speeding up this system even more, which actually may be good news for areas in the eastern Carolinas. But this is 7 a.m. Monday. We're waking up. Heck, maybe the worst weather is over for areas in Georgia, areas in central South Carolina, and maybe the Piedmont Triad in North Carolina. But as the sun, you're getting a lot of moist and warm air flowing ahead of this line. And you see these little discrete kind of storms right here. They don't look super impressive when you're looking at it right here. But really, these are the ones we need to watch out right in this area for quick spin-ups. They could drop a tornado real quick, then they'll go right back up, cause a lot of damage. But this is the area we need to watch as we're getting into later morning. So from this area, you're probably from 8 to 9 a.m. to around noon. And even in the afternoon. It just depends on how quick we can get this system out of here. But, it kind of starts to stall out over here. and you're still getting some nasty storms back over here even into the afternoon. But check out the snow starting to break out in Tennessee and the mountains. Any leftover moisture starting to, and it's even showing some flurries maybe in northern Alabama and northwest Georgia. So we're gonna watch that and check out these flurries maybe breaking out. Be very interesting to see who can see a novelty flurry or things like that, But as we're getting into this is the significant tornado parameter. And now watch it out as we're getting into the 7 a.m. area. 5, 6, 7 a.m. It's starting to increase from the Midlands of South Carolina, basically middle of North Carolina, points east. So it goes from pretty much 1 to 10. So you're starting to get 1s to 2s out of 10 on the parameter, which isn't significant, but it highlights that chance, that 5% chance to see a quick tornado drop, cause some damage. So you have to be aware of this. Even in areas in South Carolina, guys, over the Myrtle Beach area, eastern areas of the PD, gotta watch out for this. Especially it's going to be kind of early in the morning. It might catch some people off guard. Just gotta watch out for sure. We're going to check out here in the Cape. There's not really much Cape going on. This Cape is basically storm energy. It's not really a high Cape event. This is kind of more of an event where it's just going to be a lot of wind energy. And but check it out. You got the low pressure right here working its way here. And before this line of storm gets here, you got a lot of winds. These are potential wind gusts off the NAM screaming ahead of this line. The line's probably right into here. So it'll be super breezy. If you live somewhere that you can really hear the winds outside when it's very windy, you're definitely going to start hearing them a lot as we get into overnight here in the Carolinas and parts of Georgia as this system draws closer. So don't be alarmed, but and then you're going to get some high winds associated with any line of storms that forms. But check out here in North Carolina, just some high winds even before the storm moves through. So any fall foliage that's left on the trees, you can say bye to it because it's probably going to get stripped off because the leaves are actually really, it's crazy. We're almost in December, and even here in the Midlands of South Carolina, you're hitting like a secondary peak, and the leaves are actually still hanging on and still looking good out there. But here's the system moving through. A little bit closer look on Georgia, Carolinas. But here's these discrete cells I want to talk about. It doesn't look super impressive, but these are the ones, and this is still about mid-morning. These little boogers right here could drop a quick spin up and really wreak some havoc here. And we're just going to watch them. It's going to see how it's going to unfold. This is the supercell parameter. So supercell is basically a rotating thunderstorm. So if you got a rotating thunderstorm, you got a chance of a tornado. It really starts to increase from the Midlands east, from Charlotte east. Georgia, I really think you're going to be saved just because the timing of the day. It's going to be overnight, so I just don't think it's going to be a large threat of severe weather. But look, check it out. Starting to get into some high readings of potential supercell activity, rotating thunderstorms. Nothing very alarming like something you would see in Oklahoma in spring or anything, but these are some pretty high values for this time of the year. So Tony, this little area right here, we got to watch out for tornadoes, that's for sure. But one thing I want to talk about really quick is, and I'll probably maybe hint on this in another video tomorrow as we really see how it's going to unfold. And this is the HRRR model, the latest long range. Is check out the wraparound snow that starts working its way through. But one thing I'm noticing here is look at these little streakers right here. You're getting some flurries making its way well down into Alabama, parts of Georgia. Huntsville, Alabama, would not be surprised if you guys at all see some flurries flying around. Nothing, I don't think, that's going to stick unless you get a really good heavy band right here in the higher elevations of Alabama. Check out northern Georgia, Atlanta. Tomorrow night, you might hear some reports that it's snowing in Atlanta. It might just be some flurries. It's nothing significant at all, but I wouldn't be surprised. But check it out here in Nashville. They'll get some brief period of probably some snow. But as the moisture gets hung up and a north to northwest flow will get going in the mountains, places like Asheville and the western slopes of the mountains, northwestern slopes of the mountains will be favored in this. it'll be snowing pretty good, especially right there in the Smoky Mountains. Very favorable area right there. Gatlinburg, 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of snow. I think y'all stand a really good solid bet at an inch of snow in Gatlinburg. So you know, you guys that are still maybe vacationing there this week, you know, it's pretty lucky for you guys. I actually was there a few weeks ago, and that would be awesome to be up there while it was snowing. But anyways, you know, so you got to watch out maybe some flurries down here in the southern mid-south here. But it gets on out of here. One thing I do want to know before we close out this video here is the fact that it's really cool. This doesn't happen a lot, and I mentioned this a couple videos back. But obviously the temperatures are going to soar. This is what happens. When you get a system like this, it doesn't matter if it's the middle of the night. This thing's digging big time, and you basically got some wind screaming out the south, bringing in this moist air ahead of the system. So these are temperatures, not dew points. So check it out. You already got a very chilly southeast out to the west, but you can tell where the front is. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you where the front is, and you can see it moving as the temperatures drop. So we get into, this is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. From this line forward, even in Charlotte, up here in Statesville, Raleigh, Columbia, even the coastal areas will probably be in the 70s waking up tomorrow morning. In the 70s, so you're going to wake up and be like, yo, what is going on? It's going to be super humid. It's going to be warm for this time of the year. And even in Columbia, low 60s. Temperatures will actually increase overnight in a lot of the southeast ahead of this front. But for places, say, like Columbia, low 60s when we wake up tomorrow, the storms or whatever that moves through, severe weather threat will drop. And as we're getting into, this is 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., all of a sudden it's in the mid-50s. So you're supposed to be warming up, right? But the temperatures are going to be dropping in a large part of the southeast. Now, look here, before the front gets here, and this is why the severe weather threat is really heightened here, is because the front and the real game changer here doesn't really make it here in the eastern Carolinas until later in the morning or even early afternoon, which allows temperatures to really get going. The temperatures rise, it causes more instability. You know, that's just pretty much in any time of the year that can be the case. But you know, we get into starting to get into the afternoon hours, the temperature actually dropping in these areas right here behind the front. They're actually going down. So maybe on the ride home, it might be in the 40s in parts of the state where it was in the 60s on the ride to work. I mean, that's crazy. You don't see that a lot here in the southeast. You don't really see where the temperatures actually drop during the day. You get that in the Midwest a good bit. You get crazy fronts that have sharp gradients, but you don't get that much here in the southeast. So that'll be something interesting to watch. But temperatures drop off quick overnight for the entire southeast, even areas in the far eastern areas of the Carolinas that warm up quick during the day. The front will clear the whole entire area, and temperatures begin to drop very fast, and a lot of areas will wake up below freezing and into 30s. I don't see much of a frost issue just because the winds will be still whipping behind this cold front. But this is going to be an interesting system, so I'll keep y'all updated here in the morning to see what's unfolding. But that's pretty much all I got. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's evening and stay safe.